I always had a bit of that brain open, bit of my brain open to that. I think the great thing with Christo was that he was so good about handing over to me. So gradually, as he aged, he let me take more and more of the sort of decision all round, as well as the creative decisions, you know. And then I remember just before he died, just before you know, he had a stroke and passed away. So unfortunately, just before his stroke, he said to me, "The place is yours now." He said, "You know, I've done my bit. You know, I'm not." And I thought he was going to come out of hospital. Actually, I thought he was going, but he didn't survive it. And so for me, the most important thing was to protect Dixter and to save it, because he didn't own all of it. So we had to sort of raise money to purchase the bits that we didn't. So that came to the fore. Then it was important not to lose the essence of what it was, and it was a highly creative garden. You know, it's dynamic, fast moving, experimental, all of that. And of course, you have to do that for the right reason, for the sake of you learning, rather than it's just being a show off thing. So that we got embroiled in all of that sort of stuff, and then we sort of put our efforts into education as well, and all of that. You know, my wife's an ecologist, and she works for the Zoological Society of London, dealing with all sort of issues, and she's and I was very aware of this because all her friends are involved in conservation projects and so on, and she would always be badgering me, you know, because I'd see some interesting butterfly, or I'd see something, or she'd go and sort of find a beetle, and she'd say, you know, you ought to do a biodiversity audit in the garden. And I just didn't even know what that was, and I just thought, oh, you know, what you're talking about? Because we've got great meadows, we're dripping with orchids, we've got adder's tongue ferns, we've got great crested newts galore. There are, you know, lesser spotted, greater spotted woodpeckers that I'm seeing, you know. So we've got loads of badgers. We're doing the right thing, and we sort of pat each other on the back, saying, "Oh, we've seen another rare such and such," and all that. She said, "It's not about that, you know." She said, "It's about getting information out into the community. So you should be feeding information into the local records and working together with other organizers and you know, because there is a lot going on at Dixter, and so to actually find out exactly what's there will mean that you can then manage it properly. Because, you know, Daniel, what we were doing is that I was creating another meadow and an orchid rich meadow, and she was saying to me, well, do you need to create another bit of meadow there? Is that the best habitat? Is that the habitat you're lacking there? Or is there should there be something else? And when the penny dropped was this, you know, I was using it. There was a kid who was just helping us, and I wanted to have a project. So he wanted to build a shed, and I thought, fine, you know, because we do a lot for the community. Yeah, so I said, yeah, go ahead, and I like to have a green roof on that shed. So I was going to put sort of sedums and sempervirens and all those sort of things. And I remember going to Amanda and saying, what sort of plants should I use to put on the green roof? And she said, well, you've got plants everywhere. She said, but what thing you haven't got is bare soil. She said, you haven't got much bare.
Oh, you can't say bare soil.
She said, because that's what she said. Why don't you, you know? And I said, well, we have got bare soil. We better. She said, okay, think about what I'm saying. Think about habitats. You know, creating another habitat. You know, so